Hi, I'm Georgie Frost.
And I'm Martin James.
And today on Bread and Honey, we're asking, why is it so hard to talk about money? Have you ever asked a colleague how much they earn, or a neighbour what their house is worth, or lied to your partner about how much your new shoes cost? What about telling friends you got a big pay rise, or admitting that you're struggling with debt? Talking about money can help us achieve our financial goals faster, get out of debt quicker, have stronger relationships, greater knowledge, bigger bank balances, and better futures. So why don't we talk about it more?
Joining us today is Ade Oladipo, the broadcaster, commentator, talksport presenter, and social media legend. Ade, welcome to the show.
I love that. Keep going. Yeah. Those
Enjoyed
are great.
that?
Those are good. The last one.
Yeah.
Social media legend was fantastic.
Ade, how open are you about money?
Not
find
at all.
out, I guess, but-
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. No. I think maybe because I've come not from money. Mm-hmm. So I was always embarrassed to talk about what I didn't have. And I think I've stuck with that as I've got older, even though now I've got a bit more than I had before. So I always felt like because I never spoke about it out of embarrassment,
Yeah.
or if I were to speak about it, I was lying. I just kind of kept zip and haven't really spoken about it since.
So now you're
This is a thirst.
multi-millionaire.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it easy
In Naira.
What currency are we talking about?
Nigerian
Millionaires in one country or another. What has that changed, or is it just a different kind of?
Now it's a different kind of embarrassment because, look, fortunate to do what I do, but I realize that the friends I grew up with or industries I worked in before, and I still meet those people, I know they're not on that money. So I'm like, okay, I don't really want to talk about money when I know you're not on money. And then some of them are very much hand to mouth sometimes. Some of them are struggling for bills. And here I turn up with my multi-million, whatever.
You're doing all
That's
right.
not true. Yeah.
You're doing all right.
I'm doing okay. But yeah, so
Yeah.
It's awkward to talk to people that I know don't have much about money.
Yeah.
So unless I'm sort of with industry people that I kind of feel like might be on the same rate or whatever, then it's fine. We kind of have banter about money, but anyone else, no.
So it's weird how that works, isn't it? Where you go from kind of growing up without money and then suddenly being perceived to have it, even if you're not talking about it.
Yeah, and I think because maybe they see me on TV or hear me on the radio, I think they assume it's more than they think. So it is awkward. It's funny you say this, actually, because I've just got a car. And then when I went back to my
car?
old area...
She's straight. I was,
right there.
I was
How
going
much
to
was
gloss
it worth?
over that. She's straight in there.
It's quite a nice car.
Well, I was going to say,
Quite a nice car.
This for us is a difficult conversation because we spend every single day of our lives talking about money. So I'm trying to remember back to what it was like when I wasn't like that, and I would never have gone to someone like, "What car are you driving? How much?" I don't.
You're that person
I don't
now.
know about cars, so I'd have to Google how much it's
But
worth.
it's funny because these are things I always wanted. These are things I always dreamed of having. But then, again, I grew up with a certain friends, a friendship circle that I still have. And it was those dreams for them as well. And I do feel sometimes a bit wrong going into my circles. And look at me, and I've got the nice car and the nice watch, and I've got a nice flat now, and you're still there. So I almost tone down, if you like, my wealth or conversations about wealth just to fit in and just almost pretend I've been sort of taken back to 10 years ago. Well, we're all on the same page and we're all okay and da-da-da-da. And I do that. I play that role quite well. I certainly don't go, like even where we meet for drinks, it's where we used to meet for drinks. I don't say, oh, come meet me in this club in central London where a Jack Daniels is £25. No, let's go to the pub and get a pint for £4. So I go back to where they are as opposed to bringing them to me, which is quite awkward. I didn't realise I did that until now. It's quite
I want to go to that place that's charging £4 for a pint because that sounds fantastic.
Leytonstone High Road.
I'm in.
Where did you get your attitude from money? I do appreciate that we've made you sound like this multi-millionaire. Right?
Which is certainly not true.
It's just, I suppose it's the
It feels like that sometimes compared to where I came from.
Absolutely.
I came from, so I was born in Nigeria, and then I was fostered when I was 1 with a family in Brighton. And it's funny because when you're young, obviously you can't tell the difference between what you don't know, wealth and poverty. But going back to the area called Molscoombe, now I realised it was a very poor area. And I remember the lady we used to kind of get clothes from jumble sales and things across the road from our house. So I've grown up in poverty, and my mum then came back from Nigeria. She took us from this foster family, and she used to work in a sausage factory. So it's always been poverty. And I think because of that, when money did start flowing in, I almost felt a bit, not resentment for making money, but I felt like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not used to it. I'm not from this. It's definitely been a case of struggling before. So now money is there. I kind of don't know how to position myself now.
Yeah.
Do I now find new friends? Do I now...
Sorry, darling.
Sorry,
you're not
people.
rich enough for
You're
me.
not in the top 1%, get there. Do I motivate them? Like, this can happen. Look at me. This can be you. So it's a weird thing. But I think because I've come from so much poverty, I think so anyway, real poverty, I just, I find it a weird transition that's happening with me right now.
To zoom out of all of our individual situations, there is a societal attitude towards talking about money, and we've all touched on it. It's that, would you ask someone how much they earn? No, it's considered rude. Well, why is it considered rude? We have a gender pay gap. How are we going to break down these barriers if people don't talk about how much they earn, especially when people are freelancing and you have no idea what to ask for certain jobs? You need to start talking about it, but we don't.
I think I lied. I think especially with my first long-term girlfriend, I think initially, maybe to impress her, I probably took her to a restaurant that I couldn't afford at all. Maybe which was beyond. I should have gone Nando's. That's probably was more close to the pay packet I was on. So I probably took her to somewhere I shouldn't have gone. And then I think she then thought that was the level.
Yeah.
So when sort of financial conversations came up, when we were kind of into the relationship, maybe 3 or 4 months into it, I didn't want to have the conversation with her about how much I was earning because I was embarrassed about what I was earning because I was trying to keep up this facade of I've got a bit more than you think I've got when I didn't. And then eventually, obviously, we had the conversations when it was a case of, okay, let's just talk about what do you earn? And I was so embarrassed. I can't... It's funny now, I'm embarrassed.
Why?
I was so embarrassed because...
Where does that come from?
Because I always felt like I could do better with... Like, I was always quite well educated, but I flunked in college. I wasn't interested. I didn't go to university. So but my mum always felt like you were the one that could put the family name some respect. You're smart. Stop trying to follow your brothers. So I always felt like I could do better. And then I just landed in a dead end job. And I was like, why am I here? Like, I should be way beyond this. I remember it was Islington Council. I was on 24,000 a year or something. And it was pitiful.
It's not livable now.
No,
Really, no.
way.
It wasn't really livable then.
No.
Yeah, no way, no way.
In London, Islington.
So, I remember just lying to I didn't lie to her and tell her what I earned. I just didn't have a conversation about money.
Yeah.
And I always kind of knew how to dress, but not anymore. But I always was quite well put together. So it probably looked like I was making more than I was. And then when we had a conversation, I was like, oh my God, here we go. I remember the walk home when when you get home, we need to have a conversation about money. I remember it being almost like I was going to the gallows. I remember I was thinking, this is frightening. And I don't know where this is going to go. But
How into the relationship were you by then?
3-4 months.
3-4 months.
3-4 months. But she had pretty much moved in. So it was a case of, okay, are we getting serious now? Okay, we are getting serious. Let's talk money. And I was like, what? I pay the rent. I remember it was almost an argument. I was like, I pay the rent. Why do we need to know what I'm making? Like, no, you don't need to know what I'm making, but we did. And
Aren't there clues, though? You know, when you're dating someone, you kind of get an idea of how much they're earning, no?
I don't know. I certainly...
Well, no, you were lying about it. You
I lied. I mean, we went to... I was able to kind of go out once or twice a month, so it looked like there was money. And most times I'd say, let's stay in. But I was saying, let's stay in because I couldn't afford to go out. And I was happy to kind of play that role until I couldn't play it anymore.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because I think, I don't know if you've encountered this as well, but I think particularly now, it's all about kind of like the displaying of wealth without necessarily having any.
100%.
Because I mean, I've been to kind of some of the Ponzi beach clubs in Marbella.
Have
it's
you now?
Ridiculous money as a guest. Trust me, I'm not going to pay any of that. And there's no getting away from it that every single person around those tables is a tradesperson from Essex. They're all hairdressers or builders.
You know what's interesting?
But they've all saved up the cash just to blow it.
I really wanted to do that when I would go out with. I was friends with a few footballers. That was my thing when I was young. So I would be out with them, and they would go to their clubs in central London, and they would do the bottles and I always wanted to do that. So I would always try and grab a bottle to pretend I purchased the bottle. And I remember thinking, when I get money, I'm going to do that. And now I can do that. I have zero interest in doing it. It's weird. I'm watching people do it. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Whereas when I didn't have the money 10 years ago, I wanted to do it. It's a kind of a weird thing, that is.
Yeah. Do you really need a bottle of Dom Perignon with a sparkler in it to tell everyone?
It's not about what you need. And if that's how you want to spend your money and your time, and you don't earn that much, but you save up and you want to spend it in that way, there's no judgment here. But I agree with you. It's sort of like, I was a sports journalist back in the day up in the Northeast, and I remember going to a casino with a few of the players. I mean, obviously, I couldn't spend any money. I was on pittance. And at the time, I had a major back issue, and I was desperate for an MRI scan.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at one of these players that were just basically flicking these coins. There's an MRI scan. It was like 500 quid. There's an MRI, just one coin after the other. They offered to pay, but I just was so proud. I couldn't even say, yeah, go on then, why not? For them, it was nothing. It was literally flicking these coins onto a table. For me, I was going, another MRI scan, another MRI scan.
I lived in a hostel, a homeless hostel in Stratford, between the ages of 18 and 24. And my friend at the time, long time. And my friend at the time played for Tottenham, a good friend of mine, Alton Farewell. And we were around the same size. So I always used to wear his clothes. So his clothes, his shoes, whatever, like literally dressed up. And it's not, I had to kind of distance myself from him because he used to then drop me home. So we've done all the swanky, he had a nice house in Chigwell. So I'd go to his house in Chigwell, would get changed, and then would make the drive to central London. And then again, I'd be around all these friends. Ledley King was there, all other footballers, all drinking. And I'm actually there thinking, I have no money.
Yeah.
Like, I have no money, zero. And I'm out with you guys pretending I do have money, wearing your clothes. You'll then drop me back to the hostel. Again, not his fault. And it was such a facade. I was like, this is such a crazy, fake existence I'm living. So I almost had to kind of just say out and I just can't anymore. Like, I need to stop being with you. Like, I can't anymore because this is not real. This isn't real for me. I'm doing a gyro of £128 every couple of weeks, and I'm pretending I'm this rich footballer in central London clubs. And it was just me almost playing a make-believe life just to fit in and look good and be one of the boys.
This fascinates me because it just reminds, and I don't want to say anything against my sex, but it sounds like you're basically a woman. Like that. Is you're being dragged along to things. And I'm really curious to know what this is like from the male perspective. Are you more likely to lie? Are you more likely to want to be seen as rich? I mean, okay, maybe I'm just a unique person. For me, it doesn't bother me. It's not really been something that, even when I have money, when I don't have money, I don't.
Do you know? I don't think it's as black and white as that, because I think a lot of the time it's not about pride or arrogance or trying to be too much. I think it's peer pressure. I think you just get swept along with the moment, and I think because we're from all different parts and demographics of the UK, but there is still something about being British and about paying for a round, about buying for this. And this is, I mean, I've said to Georgie before, I didn't have a credit card until I was 28, and it was my third year of living in London. But then my friends were all like rich lawyers and everything, and they were all going to the Shadow Lounge, and everyone had private members things. And I remember the first round I ever got was 34 quid for 4 drinks. And I thought, I can't afford this lifestyle. And 3 months later, I was $3,000 in debt on the credit card. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to show off. I was just trying to keep up.
Yeah, I think we've all been in a situation, surely, where you've been round the table, you've gone to a restaurant, you've only had, a starter and a glass of water, and then everyone's like, should we just split the bill? And you just don't want to be that person that goes, yeah, but I only had this. Yeah. Nowadays, I'd say it probably.
Oh, now?
Hell yeah.
Weird, isn't it? Now I would.
Right? But also, you've got to ask yourself the question of, if I can't have that conversation around the table with a group of mates, who am I hanging around with? Yeah. Because at the time I was struggling with debt. I was just trying, I think I just managed to get myself back to a position where I was, solvent. And it just felt like such a slap in the face that it was like, oh, fine, just take the money. I hadn't had a drink. I was just like, and from that point I was like, I'm never going to not say anything again. But I think we do. You're right. Peer pressure is a huge one.
Massive.
Especially in relationships, I think, when you want to enjoy those things. And...
it's massive. And I think... the lady at the time, the person I was with, she definitely kind of just made me feel comfortable about talking about money.
What did she do to make you feel? What was the...
I think this is going to sound crazy, but I used to have so many bailiff letters come through the door, and I was the person of ignore. I knew what the letter looked like. I knew the envelope. I knew ignore. And then she was like, "What's the worst thing in life for you?" And I said, "Death and jail." If we're talking extremes, and she was like, "Okay, well, let me tell you now. That letter is not death or jail. Like, you can solve it. Like, you can just open it up and solve it." And she made me just comfortable to be open and honest about my financial situation, and it was the only person, probably to this day, where I'm like, I'm okay to tell you I am broke. And then we just seemed the relationship blossomed because of it. It was like, we'd have pay-as-you-go electricity, beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, babes, we have no money. Like, I felt so comfortable saying, and we kind of just grew with it. We kind of grew with it because her financial situation wasn't the best, but she wasn't trying to pretend it was the best. It was me that was. So I think once we were open and honest about our financial situation, it just made me, it almost took the weight off my shoulders. Like, okay, so we're not going to go to this restaurant, babes, because there's no money. And I got comfortable doing it. So she helped me a lot. But before then, I was definitely just living almost a lie about what money I had.
And I'm so glad you said that, because actually I think that message is going to be really important for the people listening, because actually, what is the worst that can happen? It is one of those things. It's one of those messages that people need to hear. If anyone's listening to this, by the way, and worrying, we've got loads of advice on the Times Money Mentor website about how to sort your finances out. And there's a great free debt charity called Step Change that you can phone. And it's one of those things where there are actual really straightforward solutions. But as you say, you've got to admit it.
You think there's no way out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, one debt became another. I remember, I can't remember, parking. It might have been parking. One might have even been Kay's catalogue. Remember Kay's?
Oh, wow.
Kay's catalogue, where they kind of get you in, don't they? It's like, this brand new TV, £1.50 a week or something. And it just kind of just went on and on and on. And 20 quid turned to 1,000, and they're knocking at the door, and you're thinking, there's just no end to this.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then you realize there is, and you can set up arrangements. But at the time, I honestly thought, I have no idea how to get around this.
Yeah,
so
it's like buy now, pay later finance now, isn't it?
It's true. And that old adage of a problem shared is a problem halved is so true. To take that pressure, because the amount of stress that money worries, bailiff's notes, bills racking up can cause you, it will destroy a relationship.
100%, and destroy you.
Yeah, exactly.
It will destroy you. I mean, it put me in a weird place where, this is crazy, but I'm happy to be open and honest. Put me in a weird place where I felt like I could even hear the bailiffs. I used to live in a block of flats, and on the second floor, and I almost felt like I could hear bailiffs walking. I was that concerned. I'd be looking through the curtain, are the bailiffs here? So when we had a conversation about it, and I started to call them all, and realized they're not. I mean, obviously they try and turn up to your house and 6'7" massive guys. Once you realize you can have a conversation, it just kind of took the weight off my shoulders. It was massive.
Yeah, I think it's so important to talk about these things. I mean, I had a friend who spent 3 years. Every time he left his flat, he left by the fire escape for the same reason, because he had the bailiff fear. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
maybe it was Pretty Woman. Maybe I've made it up. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Conflated two stories. But I'm curious now. And making no reference about your relationship status, but if you were to enter a new relationship now, what considerations would you have now? Because presumably, actually, you'd probably be more concerned about being open in the other way, either bragging or perhaps someone's only gold digging or whatever.
Yeah, it scares me now.
Yeah,
it does scare me now, because before, when there was no money, I'm guessing the relationship was built on conversations and
the good stuff.
Charm, the good stuff, walks. Now, I feel like, do you really like me, or is it the car, Instagram followers, you see me on TV? I have no idea. So now it's quite awkward having financial conversations. It is. And I've been in relationships or seeing people, and the question does come, how much do you earn? And I'm like, why do you care?
Bold.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. And I'm like,
already?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Yeah, and it is strange, and it's even strange on first dates going to these expensive restaurants, and I'm like, I've never done this. Like, and not that I can't afford, but I'm like, what are we doing here? And the bill comes and it's 600 quid, and I'm like, what's going on?
No, would you go to an expensive restaurant on a first date? I'd save that for date number 2 or 3.
I go back, I do think it would be naive to think that there's not a disparity between men and women. The pressure, I can only speak from personal experience, but I don't think the pressure is as strong on women to be seen to be rich. We still have that choice of, staying at home, not being the main breadwinner. I mean, I've been in a situation, a previous relationship, where I was quite heavily the breadwinner. It was actually through COVID, so I was the main person, the only person earning. That also destroyed the relationship in lots of different ways. He felt very emasculated by the fact that I was paying for everything. And I felt that there was a pressure on me to do so. And I thought, God, I'm getting a taste of what it must be like
To be a man.
in a way to be a man. But, you mentioned their boxing, you've spoken in the past about rap videos and all that. There is an idea of extreme masculinity, so things that are very masculine, and having conspicuous wealth.
Yes.
How does that...
I think, especially, let's play the boxing one for a second. I think because 99.9% of boxers come from poverty. You don't want to get in the ring if you don't have to. And you're doing it just to make money, right?
Absolutely.
It's the most dangerous
Do not
sport
want
in
to
the
get
world.
in the ring. That's very much for sure.
Yeah, so I think because they do come from poverty and you do make a bit of money in the sport if you hit the highs, there is this want to show it. Because, look where I've come from and look what I've got now. So there is that. And I think that's the same for anyone across the board. If you come from poverty and you make money and you want to then show it off because look where I was and look where I am now. But it certainly applies to boxing even more so because it's a very alpha male sport.
That's what I was thinking. Not extreme masculinity, alpha male.
It's a very alpha male sport. Yeah, you are talking about like and women, but you are talking about men. Majority just walk around and barrel chest and look at me, look who I am. And not just physically, but then look at what I've got financially as well.
And you've got the posse as well, haven't you? Everyone's like watching around, expecting to see that.
And the numbers are openly spoken about as well. More so than any other sport where, okay, you're making 90 million a fight. Like it's out there. And fighters speak about it. Fighters will say, I made 20 million. They're open to say it. And it's been going on for years. And I feel like there was a fighter called Floyd Mayweather who maybe started it, who started throwing money at cameras and showing his cars. And there was a fighter that flushed money down the toilet. Look, this is nothing, $100 bills down the toilet. So there's always been this link between showing off and boxing. I don't know why it is. And it's something that's never going to go away.
Isn't it? I mean, half of it's that, they stand up toe to toe. I'm better than you. I've got more money. I've got a prettier girlfriend. It's that.
All of them. All of those
exactly.
things. All of the above. They do it. All of the above.
Bragging rights.
They say, I'm the A side, you're the B side. I'm paying you. I know what you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You're getting paid nothing like me. It is just bragging rights. But again, I think it does come down to the fact that they've all come from poverty. And they're not used to it. So most boxers would go, if you're a very good boxer, you go from earning very little to a lot, very quick. So it just goes like that. There's no in between. So you're quite used to the money you've got. You can go from making 20,000 to, I've just signed a deal for $1 million. No one teaches you how to handle 20,000 to $1 million. There is no course in it. There's no one in your family background that's made that kind of money. So all of a sudden you've got...
Where are the agents advising them? Like, where are those people around them
Boxing
that
is
say,
the
speak to a
wild, wild
financial
west.
advisor?
It's the wild, wild west. The amount of boxers that I've spoken to who've had problems with financial agents, and I feel bad saying this, but boxers aren't the most educated people in the world either.
That's right, yeah.
There are no college backgrounds, or there certainly isn't a boxer that's got a university degree out there. So they're going into it without the knowledge of how to control that amount of money and what to do with it. So they get a lot of people that are taking money from the side.
It reminds me of football in the early days before they all got, the financial advisors, and then the
Smart
clubs got
agents.
savvy to it. Exactly. It just sounded like, and I always wondered, being in your 20s and then all of a sudden you get all this huge amount of money.
I can't imagine what it's like.
I mean, it's crazy.
Can't imagine what it's like.
But it's interesting that you said about it's coming from poverty, because what you've essentially described about your past sounds as though you weren't exactly rolling in it in the past. And yet you don't rock around and
I have done.
Look at me.
No, I have.
Oh, you have done that?
100%. I have done it. Yeah, I have done it because I thought it would make me feel better about life.
Oh, wow.
So I remember thinking, you watch, when I get that Range Rover, that's it. We are done. I'm going to just feel so much better.
I did not have you down as like a Range Rover.
I got a Range Rover. And I got a Range Rover and I was like, Don't feel any better.
And now what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel any better. And then I was like, oh, you what? But once I get that flat that I've always wanted in central London, and then I overpay, and I was like, no, I still feel empty. So I've always been chasing things. And once I get those things, emptiness. So I'm like, stop chasing those things. And that's probably why I've completely gone the other side.
Something else.
Yeah.
Something in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Should we talk about it?
My mum says pray. Talking about go church.
You know what? Yeah.
Which is go church. That's what you're searching for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it could be. But I think talking about the work situation, we've talked about relationships and the importance of talking within a relationship. But at work, again, I mean, I spoke about the gender pay gap. Have you asked for a pay rise?
No, agent, I can't have a money conversation. I'm useless. Honestly, I'm useless. Again, it's because my rise has happened quite quick. So where I've gone from $2,000 a month, or whatever it was, to now someone saying, okay, Ade, we want to pay you $2,000 to do this thing for 45 minutes. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yes, give me it now. 400, yeah, I'll take the 400.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything, like 150 quid, yeah, I'll do it. So now I'm like, hey, can you have that conversation? Because I don't know if I'm undercutting myself. I don't know if I'm asking for too much. So I can't have financial converstions with
It also feels dirty a little bit. Don't you think?
absolutely.
Like having that sort of like, no, darling, I'm the creative.
And that's the thing.
Yeah. No, that's it.
We're in this field. Yeah, I agree with it. Well, we've often talked about this as well because
I always ask Martin for advice on
all three of us are freelancers and we're all from similar backgrounds as well. But the fact of the matter is, nobody tells you about this kind of thing. And I find it very difficult to know how much I'm worth per hour, per day, per job. So we often compare notes to find out. And we encourage each other, you know, because we always underpitch how much we should be asking
Someone
for.
asked me the other day.
Yeah.
Someone asked me at the end of this is literally last weekend, at the end of a boxing event, I'm the presenter. The reporter asked me how much I get paid because he covered for me a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, I don't know if I should tell you. I was like,
Never tell direct competitors.
I always say.
And I felt bad. I said, dude, come on, man. I was having a drink. I was like, what? Like, and I did. And I remember I couldn't go to sleep. I was thinking, should I have told him to help him out? Or is he so below me that it's going to cause a problem and he's going to say, oh, but Ade's on. So I just didn't say. And I felt bad. I was like, have I done the right or wrong thing? I didn't know what I was doing. Would you have said?
Always.
Never. See, there we go. We're all different people.
But I come at it from a different perspective. I also think we work in an industry where, so let's say I present quite a few podcasts and I get wildly different pay for each podcast. So it's not even like the events that we do or the jobs that we do, there is a set pay even for me, like, let alone someone else. But if someone comes to me and is like, how much do you get paid for this? I'm not sure how much to ask for. I remember a colleague of mine, I gave an absolute breakdown of everything because I was like, you have to bear in mind, this is, me and people are paying to have me there.
That's the thing.
But, and you've got to factor that in. But it's like, actually, this is what you can earn. And I think maybe it's a female thing that I try to just open it up because I think that this is how much you should be worth. This is how
I like that. I think that what you said there, before, this is how much you're worth. This is what you can earn. I think that's always good. So people know, wow, okay, this is what I could get. I think that's always a good point. But I think I'm always wary of telling someone in the same industry what I don't know. I just feel like it could lead to problems down the line.
Like what?
Exactly.
What problems down the line?
I feel like they could go to said producer and say, okay, Ade earns this. I filled in for Ade. Why am I not earning this? And then the producer says, why have you told them what you're I don't know.
Because you're not Ade, though.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Because they're paying for you. And this is what you kind of have to accept is that, they want you. And there's going to be a time then they may want someone else, and you've got to accept that. But while you are as a freelancer and earning it now, then that's the way it is. But if that guy eventually, could dream to be you and to get to your level, I know.
Because you're doing the same job, but also you're not friends. You're competitors in many ways as well. Well, I think the one thing that we've got from all of this is certainly quite a fraught subject, isn't it? And I think if you find it hard to talk about money, well, then get in touch. I mean, why do you think it's such a tricky topic? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
I'd also love to know, would you have told that colleague? Again, let us know in the comments below. Are you like me and you would say, or are you like Ade and you'd be sleepless nights over it?
I'm sorry, people, I'm sorry.
But it's interesting that you've got, do you have an agent?
I just have signed up with an agent. I've done it by myself for years because, again, I didn't know how to pitch myself.
I got undercut badly. That's why I got an agent. I got
Really?
undercut
There you
very,
go.
very badly.
How did you find out?
So I did a gig. The main presenter of that gig fell through. So I had to go into main presenter role. And then they needed someone to cover my role. So I was like, oh, I know someone that could do it. And so I put someone forward, and the person I put forward called me and said, Ade, look, what should I do money-wise? And I was like, look, take whatever, because there's could be an opening here and this could be a long-term thing for you. Anyway, long story short, I was actually on the radio, and he messaged me and said, they offered this much. I was like, what? It was 3 times what I was getting. 2.5, 3 times what so I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. So I went to the company. I was like, it was awkward for me. Again, no agent at the time. So I went to the company. I was like, well, I found out you're paying my friend nearly 3 times what I get paid. And it's like, yeah, we were desperate to fill your role. We had no one to do it. I was like, this makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
How's he getting paid? He's less experienced. So what are we doing here? I've moved up and you're still... And so the guy was honest and said, just get an agent, dude. And I was like, well, I shouldn't even have to get an agent. You've just kind of done me wrong, but I got an agent and I'm still with him.
Do you notice the moral of that story, though?
Go on.
The only reason you knew that and therefore pushed yourself...
Because someone told me.
Someone told you.
Damn.
And I've got producer Davis just telling me in my ear how much Ade's being paid for this. And I think you should stop asking questions until...
You know what? You're right, because someone told me.
Right?
Because someone told me. I would never have known.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have got an agent. You wouldn't have had someone deal with that.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly. So it helps to talk about money.
But okay, let's play devil's advocate here, though. But are you happier knowing that? I mean, would you have been happier on the money had you not have known?
I don't think I would have got an agent as soon as I did.
Right.
And my agent did sort of catapult everything up immediately. So I'm like, well, that means that money was always on the table and I didn't know about it.
But do you
that means
think
I
you
always could have got it.
Do you think you could have been just happier on that level of money, though? Or is it
I was
now
ecstatic.
that you know?
On that money at the time, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought, my God, my life is changing. I can shop in Waitrose. Like, we've really got.
I think that's the big difference, isn't it?
We've really done it, Mum.
Exactly. When you know that you can shop in Waitrose as opposed to shoplifting Waitrose, you know that you've actually made the difference. Sorry, George, we don't talk about the conviction anymore.
I know. Oh, me? Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
This was Asda. Different.
Yeah. Please, darling. Please, Waitrose. I'm wondering about social media and the impacts of that. I mean, you're legit, though, on social media, but there are plenty of people who, let's be honest, charlatans on social media. Like, influencers, a lot of them. I mean, some are amazing, don't get me wrong.
Some are horrible, though.
But some are ridiculous. And I wonder if this void of us not talking about money in come all of these sort of, charlatans and bad eggs to give, like, basically Ponzi advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
A lot of it's really, really dodgy advice. And I worry as well because I speak to a lot of people who are from the same background as me and that all they want to know about is crypto and get rich quick investment schemes.
Yeah.
But they're all there with their cars
exactly.
and their amazing
lifestyles.
lifestyles.
It's sickening. Honestly, you see them and it almost seems to be like everyone's doing it in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's something like everyone's renting out a car, they've got a flat, you could do this, you could do this. And I'm like, what is going on? But again, it comes back to no one has told us. I mean, if you are from a certain financial background, I was going to say ethnicity, but it isn't that because I think financial backgrounds. If you're from a certain financial background, no one has told you what to do with your money if you are lucky to break through and get money. Even me now that I've started to make a bit more money, I still don't know what I'm doing with my money. So I can't imagine someone that's just come through that they're okay where they can actually save a couple of quid. They have no idea because their parents weren't able to save and their parents weren't able to save. So it's not like you learned from your mum and dad and they've learned from their mum and dad. It's all new to you. And hence why you then can be tricked by these charlatans who show you that, just give me 1,000 quid and we'll turn it into 2,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How do we reach old you? We're financial journalists and it's our raison d'etre in life to try and engage people. And I remember back to me as the sports journalist that I wasn't stupid. You're not stupid. I was utterly disengaged. And I had this attitude of I don't have any money, so then I don't care about it kind of thing. Yeah. How would I have reached me? And it's the conundrum I'm thinking about my entire life now is what can we do? What can we say that can reach people like you were when you were ignoring those bailiffs bills? Because the difference a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of motivation and confidence can make is astonishing. I know I've been there. You know you've been there. How do we reach you? How do we reach me?
It's difficult, Georgie. I'll be honest, it's difficult because I was embarrassed to talk about my situation. So it's almost breaking down that wall of embarrassment. And that's the biggest wall you've got to break down, because I was able to play a game and a role that just wasn't me. And I was able to do it well. And I didn't ask my mums for money, my sister, I didn't ask anyone. So I was able to shut the door, struggle, and then open the door and smile when money came in. So that you wouldn't see me for 4 days. You wouldn't know, but I was struggling inside my house. So
what's the worst that could have happened? Who are you, in a way, that if you had admitted you were struggling, I can answer this. Like, I came from a background where, I was supposed to be very intelligent. My parents spent all the money they could to send me to a really good school. I felt like a failure. Yeah, I had failed, and I didn't want to expose that to my parents, that I was, especially when they were struggling themselves and they put themselves through so much trouble. And also, whenever money was talked about in our house, because they struggled to send me to school, there was always so many arguments. Yeah. We don't have any money. Money was something that created friction, so I didn't want to talk about it because it would create friction. Who were you that the worst thing that could happen? What would that have exposed?
Oh, wow.
I told you it got deep.
That was really deep as well. I was imagining answering that question.
You didn't
and I was
tell me
going to wave it.
You're next, darling. You're next.
You guys didn't tell me this was the show. For me, look, it got really, really scary. So I kind of said death in jail, but honestly, I was having thoughts of everything. It got to the stage where I was like, okay, I've completely. How old was I? I don't know, mid-30s. I was like, so my turnaround's been quite quick. Yeah. But I was like, okay. We failed in life. We failed in life. What is life? What are we doing?
Why? Just because of the money?
Just because of the money, just because of embarrassment, just because my mum had tried her hardest. So it was my mum, my dad had left, and then he passed away.
You felt like you were letting her down?
Yes, because there was 6 of us. And I had a brother that went to jail. My elder sister had a baby when she was 16. And I was the next one down. Yeah. So I was like, Ade's going to do it. So I remember mum even somehow, I don't know how she did it, but she got money together to get me a maths tutor. So I was the one. Like, okay, look, they've all messed up. It's you. Yeah. Yeah. And I messed up badly. And me and my mum stopped speaking, hence why I got kicked out, went to a homeless hostel. So I was like, I am going down a path here and I have absolutely no idea how to stop. And it became that. I started doing things I shouldn't do. And I was like, what am I doing?
How did it stop?
I met her. I honestly got to give her a lot of credit. Yeah. I met her, and
amazing.
And she was very different to me. Like, head screwed on a bit, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be fun, but this ain't gonna work out because I am head screwed off, you're head screwed on, and I don't want to screw your head off. So it kind of was that. And even though we're not together anymore, and we split up, I still do speak to her because she always kind of said, you could do this. And I remember, as she was saying, you could do this. I was like, I have £10 in my pocket. Stop. Stop your nonsense. I can't do it because there is, stop. But she kept on, and we would have fights about it. We would bang heads you're telling me a life that sounds so far away. But I think she helped me, and she kind of made me feel like I can speak to someone. I couldn't speak to my mum really. Strict African parent. She wouldn't really understand. I was embarrassed to speak to friends because I was playing the facade. Yeah. I didn't want to ask my brother and sister for money because they would know that, okay, you've got no money. So she was the only person I could really speak to. So I think you do need to find someone to speak to. I guess that's the long-winded answer. Yeah. And if you find that person, it helps so much.
But you had it in you. That's the thing.
I had it in me.
Not to think all Snoop Dogg here, but the person I'd like to thank is me. Right? No, come on. I mean, talking does help, but ultimately it comes down to you've got to take that step as well.
You've got to do it. Yeah. You've got to do it. It's in all of us in some way, shape or form. But I almost feel like you do need someone to either kick you up the backside. And sometimes it comes down to that. Sometimes now we like to tiptoe around things. Sometimes you just need to someone needs to tell you some hard truths.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes hard truths can help. I know we don't like to do it as much in today's society, but hard truths can be good sometimes.
I go for the Alec Ferguson School of Management. Some people need a kick up the bum. Some people need an arm around the shoulder. It's identifying them, playing the man, basically.
This is it, yeah. This is it.
Martin?
One of the things I started doing was writing about my own experiences, just in the same way, Ade, that you've been talking about
I journal
yours to do.
Yeah,
it's I think it's really
best thing ever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to write it all down for yourself. And then I decided I was going to start talking publicly about it because I, for one, got sick to death of these money experts coming on the telly and being all perfect. And one of the reasons why Georgie and I bonded and first started doing all of this is because we're both a bit crap.
Yeah.
And we want
a bit.
We wanted to
People
talk
need
about
to
being
hear
useless.
this, though.
Yeah.
I think people need to hear this because I do feel like when we try and listen to financial experts, everything sounds like they're doing it wonderful.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, oh my God, like I'm so
not
far
that.
behind. Like, how are they doing all this? Like, I can't even balance the in and out of money, let alone put money here and money there and move it and turn it around. So I think we need to hear that even people that do it for a living have their faults because we're not all perfect. And sometimes I think the world makes it feel like you have to be perfect in order to get this correct.
Absolutely. I mean, do you think it would be helpful if more people in the public eye actually talked about how they got things wrong, as opposed to this perfect ideal of everybody being great?
I think social media could really do with a bit more of that as well, a bit more realism.
Yeah, like how I got it wrong, lost it all, but then found a way to try and get it right. Not I got it all back and I'm now a trillionaire, but how I'm on the way to getting it all back. And just an open, honest conversation. Like I have a plaque in my house, £38.23. And I've been very open to people on my YouTube channel. They all know about it. And everyone's like, what's the 38.23 behind you? I'm like, oh, that's when it hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
That's when I opened my bank account. I was like, oh my God, there's only 30. It's funny because I made a mistake. It was 38.23, but then balance available 31.70.
Oh yeah.
So, so there was a Netflix direct debit on its way out or something.
Exactly, those provisional debits.
Yeah, those little debits that are coming out. So I was like, okay, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, we need to sort this out. This is going to go either one way or the other, and it needs to go the correct way. And that's when I really started to dig deep. And you can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do it. I think that's the best takeaway, that it isn't all doom and gloom. There is a way to kind of balance your money and get help and ask questions and get answers, and don't be embarrassed about doing it. I was so embarrassed, and I'm so happy that I no longer am embarrassed, or wasn't, or found a way to not be embarrassed, because that's, I think, especially in the black community as well, I think, and I don't speak for all of them, but you know, I know we're embarrassed to talk about money. There is an embarrassment. There is a show of wealth, even when I know majority of people that show it don't have it. And I don't know where that stems from. Again, it could stem from just putting on a facade, because I've been there and done it. But there's definitely a want to. Sometimes I feel like we're kind of putting it out there, though. There's a part of me that's like, are we putting it out there when we show this wealth that we don't have, thinking, oh, I'm going to be that person soon?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a bit of that, but there's definitely an issue with talking about money and being open and honest about money. We just won't and don't do it.
I have to ask this. Did your mother think, I knew it?
My mum is by far the greatest human being on planet Earth. Honestly, incredible. Like, she would, as there's 6 of us, by the way, in the house, and she had an awful job. Came to London chasing my dad around. So her family kind of pushed her aside. Like, what you doing as a 20-year-old coming to London? We should be in Nigeria studying. And then all of a sudden there's 6 kids. And I remember every time she used to go to work, at 7 in the morning, and we used to get up to go get ready for school at 8. And she'd always leave like money. She's like, £1 for you, Ade, and there's £1.20 for you. Everyone got their share. And I remember one day she left me 60 pence. And I remember the chicken and chip shop, there was £1.
Yeah.
I was livid. Like, I've never been so, I've never been. And it's funny now looking back at that, like, what an idiot. Because I don't know how she always used to find money and clothe us. But then now I give her everything. Like, honestly, like, I feel like it's the reason I work so hard She now mostly spends her time in Nigeria. I go over there, I see her, I make sure she is living the greatest existence that she can, because growing up, I can barely look after myself. So I don't know how she looked after 6 unruly children running around the streets doing. I have no idea. So I think she takes a lot of credit from it, and so she should, because she put so much effort into me, and I kind of let her down early. But hopefully now, if she's listening to this, I'll send her this. Please send it to me. Hopefully now she realizes that everything I do, I kind of do for my mum. No, without a shadow of a doubt.
We said before the show, if you want tears, that's fine. No, I'm not always on tears. Ade.
She's so important. She's so important.
Ade, thank you so much. Thank you for being so honest. There's a lot in today's episode that probably really hit people quite hard. And just to know that there is help out there, whether it's about financial help or any other mental health support, please do access that help. Thank you so much to Martin, as ever, to producer Dave and the whole team, and of course to you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes of Bread and Honey from Times Money Mentor. Until next time.